Are you a snack goblin? That special time of night rolls around every day or a couple times a week. You're fiending for a snack to watch with your favorite show or to unwind after a long day, and then you just start snacking and snacking. You start with a good snack, then it goes into foods that you really, really crave. Then you start eating foods you don't even like because you're in the cycle. You say, screw it, what's the point? You keep eating, and then you go to bed bloated. You wake up feeling tired, and you can't fit into your pants, and then you kind of keep repeating this cycle over and over again. If you are a snack goblin, don't worry. I have a 4R system to get rid of your snacking once and for all. And this is a true and tested method because I used to be a snack goblin too. Okay, I remember usually at like 9 o'clock at night after a really long day. I used to work 5 a.m. to like 9 p.m. So by the time I got home, I was like really ravenous and I just wanted to unwind and turn my brain off and watch a show. And so I would get home, I would head over to my pantry, and it would usually start with 1 spoonful of peanut butter, right? 1 spoonful of peanut butter right out of the jar. I'm like, okay, cool, that hit the spot, put it back. Then go back and have 2, 3. I'd eat like a cup of peanut butter before I know it because those spoonfuls aren't small. Then I'd look for the cookies, I'd look for the chips, I'd get some ice cream. And then, it was like my brain turned off and I wasn't paying attention and I wasn't hungry and I was just like looking for something to do or bored eating, emotional eating, stress eating, like something took over me and I wasn't even hungry and I started eating things I didn't even like things that I would never even go for on a normal day. I'd start eating these weird things and like melting cheese on crackers in the microwave just to eat something. And it was like the snack goblin took over me. And it made it very difficult, actually impossible for me to lose weight because I could be so good during the day or really good during the week and then I would fall off on that nighttime almost every day and it would completely derail my progress. So if that sounds familiar to you and if you're tired of your inner snack goblin winning, then this is what you can do to get rid of snacking once and for all, okay? I call it the 4R method. And if you follow this kind of 4-step R method, you are going to not only be able to say no to snacking more easily, you're actually over time not going to want to snack anymore. Like you actually don't want to. It doesn't seem interesting to you and you don't have that impulse anymore. Okay? So the very first R, if you want to get rid of the snack goblin, is replace. What does that mean? Well, we can't just go cold turkey. It's just not going to happen. How many times have you said, I'll start next Monday. I'll start next Monday. I won't do this tomorrow. Today's my last day, right? And it's kind of like, smoking cigarettes. This is my last cigarette. And the problem is we've created such a strong habit and we're getting some type of fulfillment out of that habit, whether it's emotional, whether it's relaxation, or pleasure, right? Or a dopamine hit. We're getting something from fulfilling that habit. And by completely removing that habit, your brain's going to go a little wild and it's going to be kind of like an addiction, right? We're going to be in withdrawals. And so instead of going cold turkey and removing the habit and saying, I'm not going to snack again, replace it with something else. So what you have to do is take a second and kind of identify, why are you snacking? Are you bored? Are you stressed? Are you unwinding? Does it always happen after you get into a fight with your husband? Does it always happen when you get home from the late shift at work? Like, what's your reason why? And then say, okay, if that's my why, then I know why I'm going for the snack. It's to fulfill X purpose. So find what the purpose of the snack is. If it's just to entertain you, that's fine too. A lot of times I was a procrastinator, right? I had to do my laundry, I had to do the dishes, I had to send that email, but eating sounded more fun than that. So I would eat first, then maybe do that, procrastinator. So find out your why, and then that'll tell you exactly the reason that you've kind of been snacking, okay? It doesn't have to be a fancy reason. It could be as simple as, I wanted to, right? I saw the thing and I wanted the thing. So once you now have why you want it, you must replace it. Instead of saying, no, I'm not snacking, you must have something to replace it with that fulfills the same need. So once you know your why, you can say, okay, was it for entertainment? Okay, how else can I entertain myself? Right? Am I going to knit while I watch my show? Am I going to do a bubble bath? Am I going to read a book? Right? Am I going to online shop? Right? Like something needs to replace it until the urge is low enough and less intense to where it doesn't become this battle in your head. Right? Because it's exhausting every night coming home with good intentions, and then by the end of the night, you're back where you started, and it's very frustrating. And so what you need to do is prove to yourself that you can make this habit look somewhat different. So the first R is replacing it. Decide what you're going to replace that habit with, and you can start that tonight. And over time, you'll start associating that same fulfillment with that new habit, and you'll want to go to that new habit automatically instead of snacking then new habit. It'll almost divert it and go straight there, which is really cool. So that is the first one. Now, the second R in the 4R method is you have to reward yourself, okay? When you do a good job, when you do what you said you were going to do, and you were a woman of your word and you followed through finally, you must reward yourself, because happiness comes from excitement and anticipation. Happiness is not a constant state that you're already in. It is getting excited to do something, it is getting excited thinking about something, and it is the anticipation of that thing happening that gets us really happy, right? Think of the last time you went on vacation, right? The week leading up to it, you were just so freaking excited. Maybe you were a little stressed from packing, but you're also really excited to just get on that beach, lay down and relax because you deserve it. So you have to do the same thing in your life with food. There must be a reward system as to when you do what you say you're going to do, how do we reinforce the good behavior? What are your rewards? So rewards can be as simple as, I'm going to go on a date night this week, right? It can be, I'm going to book that vacation that I've been avoiding for so long because I didn't want to be in a bikini. I'm going to, take a new exercise class and sign myself up for that. I'm going to buy myself a new pair of workout pants, right? Like something special to you that would excite you to do. Okay, so you must reward yourself because you're going to change the action, change the input. What's that reward? And now we are creating a stronger connection to do the right habit. And we're going to feel good and we're going to want to keep doing that because it's positive reinforcement, right? When you were a kid and you ate too much and your parents said, stop eating that, you shouldn't eat that, don't have the seconds, right? You're stuffing your face, it's not fair. Whatever it was. Now you've associated overeating with this negative thing, which is not a bad thing, but there's no positive to counteract that. Right? Especially when you're negative to yourself in your head, like, God, I shouldn't have had that. Why did I eat that? I'll skip a meal tomorrow. I'll work out harder tomorrow. We start overcompensating, right? We've all been there. And then there's this big negative ball around overeating, which can be useful, and I'll get to that in a minute. But where's the positive side to counteract, right? Like you can't just go through life only making decisions because there's negative consequences. You have to actually be excited to want to do things. That's a much stronger way to stick to something, okay? So, replace it with something, reward yourself when you follow through. Now, the next R in the method is called rejoicing. What does this mean? Well, we all have this idea of this future us we want to be, what we want to look like, how we act, what we wear. I need you to envision her. I need you to know exactly what she looks like and how she is. And I want you to pretend to be her today. Because you don't just randomly wake up one day and embody all the things she embodies, right? Let's say you're 200 pounds and you want to be 150 pounds. Today, you have to pretend like you're 150 pounds and act like that future you would, okay? That closes the gap, and before you know it, you just are her because you're acting like her already, and then your body and the scale just has to catch up. And so one way to do this is you must rejoice in how exciting it is that you actually stuck to it. You must rejoice in the fact that I did it, right? And even if it's a very, very small win, or even if there wasn't a win, you need to turn it into a win because these positive emotions make us keep wanting to try. If you are frustrated and you are literally repeating the same cycle over and over again, your motivation is very thin at this point. You're hanging on by a thread. You don't have many chances left before you say, screw it, I'm giving up altogether. And so by rejoicing in the fact that you are trying and finding the wins, even if there aren't any or aren't any big, you're going to feel good about the experience. And therefore, you're going to want to keep trying the experience because you will not change this habit overnight, which means you're going to have to keep practicing and trying. Which means if you have to keep practicing and trying, you better damn well enjoy it or you're going to stop practicing. I remember hating piano lessons as a kid and I stopped because I hated it. If my parents taught me to just be really, really proud of myself for learning this measure on a piano song instead of not knowing the whole song yet, I bet I would have stuck to it and I would have been the next Mozart, right? Like that's all that I'm saying here, guys. You have to be excited about your journey. Rejoice in the fact that you were trying, okay? Too easily we focus on everything we didn't do, everything we could do better, and then we let all the things we did do, even if it was a snail's pace improvement, it is still an improvement. Zoom out and see where you can be in a year if you continue that, which is really exciting. So you must rejoice, okay? So let's say your snacking habit, for me, it was 3 spoonfuls of peanut butter, 2 cookies, a bowl of ice cream, and a handful of chips, right? So instead of, I didn't remove that. I still replaced it with something. I did my Sudoku first. I would have a bubble bath. And then let's say I then rewarded myself and I bought a new pair of leggings online in the same night because I was like, yes, I'm going to fit into these. And then I would rejoice, even if it didn't go perfect. Let's say I still had that bowl of ice cream and I had 1 cookie. That is still not 3 spoonfuls of peanut butter, a bowl of ice cream, a handful of chips, and 5 cookies. You get what I'm saying? As long as you're always looking on the positive side, you cannot lose. You can only lose weight, okay? So you gotta make sure you're rejoicing. This is probably the most important one for long-term success, because health is forever. You don't get to stop being healthy. So you better well enjoy the process of learning, failing, learning, failing, learning, failing, growing, and taking leaps and bounds forward when you don't let failure discourage you, okay? Now the last one, this is really, really helpful to make sure you get rid of the urge to snack, okay? And the fourth R is repel. Okay, you must start to create this association between overeating, between snacking, between these foods that are unhealthy and they don't make you feel good, right? We don't feel good. We're bloated going to bed at night. We don't have the best sleep. We're restless. Maybe we're less intimate with our partner too because we feel gross at night. So that connection is strained. And then we wake up extra tired the next day, and then it affects our work day, and it affects what outfit we decide to wear, which affects how we show up. Like, it's this huge chain of events that's really, really holding you back from your true potential. So you have to repel the idea of snacking. Repel the idea of how you're going to feel if you do that thing. So when it happens, when we do snack, you have to, even if it's just a little snack, right, for the purpose of repelling, what you have to do is start creating that subconscious connection of, God, this makes me feel disgusting. Oh, I feel so tired. Oh my gosh, I look 3 months pregnant. Oh, I want to barf. I'm so disappointed in myself. This is not fueling my body properly. Like, just go down the line of everything wrong with this thing. Not beating yourself up. You're not saying, God, I'm so stupid. I'm never going to reach my goal. Why did I do that? We're not doing that. We are creating a very strong negative connection as to why this snacking is gross. Like, repel. Like, the idea of snacking again is disgusting. And it is gross. And you're going to be repelled from the idea of it eventually if you practice this habit. Okay, so that's the first thing you have to do. Every time you snack, every time you overeat, whether you're at a party and you overate, or it's late at night and the snack goblin came out, right? You have to repel yourself. Like, just go over your brain why this is gross and why this is not helpful, okay? That creates that strong connection, so now that's how you feel about it. Now, the next step to repelling is actually, like, you want yourself to physically react to the snacking, because right now we have a positive physical reaction to the snacking. In the beginning, right? We're like, oh God, I need to eat this. I can't wait to eat this. This is so tasty, right? Those first bites are tasty. But when we finish a tub of ice cream, that last bite was not tasty. We just wanted those first couple bites as a hit. But for some reason, we can't stop when we finish the whole tub, right? So we have a positive reaction to the snacking right now. This tastes so good. This hits the spot. Oh, I feel react. Oh, I got a hit of dopamine. It was my excitement in the day because I had a rough day. It's this positive association. And we physically react by releasing dopamine, by letting ourselves react. By turning our brain off after a stressful day. So now it's time for you, like you're never going to overcome snacking if you have this immediate positive reaction because you're getting something good from it, which is the opposite of what we're trying to do by associating and repelling. So not only do you have to list off how gross it makes you feel, how far away from your goal it gets you, that you're going to jump on the scale the next day, you also have to physically make sure that you're feeling negative about it. Think about how sugar makes you feel when you crash. You're nauseous, your stomach's upset, you're bloated, you want to puke, but you can't, right? So it's not me being dramatic and me creating this weird habit. It's me just accentuating how it makes me feel and physically overreacting. So again, I make that connection in my brain. So over time, I'm going to look at that piece of cake and I'm going to know logically it's not worth it because I have those reasons to repel that I practice. But physically, I'm no longer going to be like, because we battle, right? It's like, gosh, I shouldn't have that cake, right? I want it, I can't have it. I want it, I can't have it. We have the battle. Over time, when you practice that physical reaction of repelling yourself from that food, you don't even have that battle anymore. It's just like, oh God, that looks gross, I don't want it. Imagine every time you looked at something that was your downfall, like your go-to, right? Like your trigger food. Imagine looking at it and actually not wanting it. How freeing that would feel. And then you can actually decide if you want it based on, do I want it? Instead of like, is it an impulse? I have to have it. You can be like, do I want it now? Do I want it later? Do I want it next week? Do I want it in an hour? You can actually make a rational decision about it instead of saying, I must eat it now. I never know when I'm going to get it again because tomorrow I'm going to restrict myself like crazy to lose weight, right? So that is how you conquer your inner snack demon, the 4 R's. You got to replace the habit. You got to reward yourself once you fulfill that new habit. You got to rejoice in the fact that you continually try, and you have to repel that negative habit so you get that physical reaction, and actually that the impulse disappears over time. Very simple to do. It requires very minimal effort, just a little thinking on your part. So go ahead right now, write down how you will do those 4 things and implement it tonight. Take action. Don't just listen to me talk. Okay, actually use what I'm saying. It's very helpful. I use this all the time for myself. It's helped me lose 80 pounds. And if you want more hands-on help to lose weight, if you want to speed up your results, if you want to lose 20 pounds over the next 6 weeks, which I am famous for, you can click the link down in the description, head on over to my website and check it out there. I will see you on the next video.